asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Hi guys, and welcome to the first episode of Aaron Talks Films. Now, if you are a usual listener and you're still subscribed to this podcast, you'll remember it as Up and At Them. Well, a few months ago I decided I just don't want to do that anymore, not under that name, because when I first started that podcast, it was me and a good friend of mine, and after he left, I carried on doing it on my own, and I enjoy it. I still enjoy it, even though I've not done it in a couple of months. I needed a few months off just to kind of, reinvigorate myself, get back that love of doing podcasting, which it does take a lot out of you, but it took me a little while just to get back into that headspace of wanting to do it. And, I'm finally here. I'm not 100%. I'm actually very, very nervous about doing this again because it's been so long. When you take so long to get back into something, it is a struggle, but I am back, and like I say, I've decided to get rid of the name Up and At Them because that was a part of my life that is gone, essentially. I cherish every moment that I had when I was doing Up and At Them. The name always made me laugh. It was literally just a case of I woke up one morning, that name was there in my head, and I found it funny because it's kind of an old Simpsons reference. If you get it, you get it. If you don't worry about it. But I just decided I wanted to move away from that, and I'm going to focus now on Aaron Talks Films, because that was my YouTube channel that I've poured so much into, because it is essentially what I do. I talk about movies. Now, you're probably wondering why it's not called Aaron Talks Movies. Basically, the simple answer for that is you probably don't even care, but when I did my Twitter handle, I did not have enough characters for Aaron Talks Movies, so I chose Aaron Talks Films. That's as simple as it is. It's an absolutely stupid reason, but that is the reason. Aaron Talks Films I love, but Aaron Talks Movies would have made a bit more sense. But hey, here we are. This is Aaron Talks Films. I am back. I am going to do this to the best way that I can. The podcast isn't really any different to what it was before. I'm basically just going to go through movie news. And when I finally do get into this episode, you're probably thinking, Aaron, come on, get on with it. But I'm just giving you a little background. There is a lot of movie news this week. There is so much. But when I finally do get into that, we'll cover everything as best as I can. But I just wanted to give you a kind of wrap up. The reason I've been off for so long as well, I mean, if you're a fan of my YouTube channel, or even if you're not, go and check out the last video that I did. I've actually been having a lot of health issues recently. I suffer with anxiety and depression, and this all culminated about 5-6 weeks ago. I woke up one morning and I had a physical tic. My head started shaking and tremoring. If you go and watch the video, you'll see it. You'll be able to understand it a bit better, but it really affected me and, my day-to-day life, and it actually brought me down to a point where I was so low. I've actually been speaking to doctors, and they have advised me to come off my antidepressants that I was on, which is what is making this a lot harder as well, because I was finally at a place where I was so confident and really loving what it was that I was doing. But that's why I kind of had to put everything on the back burner, including YouTube and this. But I'm thinking, now's the time. Why not just, I've had some great advice from some friends and my partner. My fiance, soon to be wife, has really pushed me to do this. I could not do anything that I do without her love and support. And a good friend of mine, Phil Better, who actually has a podcast himself, the Phil Better Show. he basically said to me earlier, just do it. Just jump on it and get on with it. And them two have given me the best advice, which is why I'm doing this now. It's actually a lot later than what I wanted it to be, because I actually planned to do this about 2 hours ago, but it's 2 hours of, you know, nerves and anxiety all building up. But I figured, you know, what the hell, so here I am. None of that probably made any sense if you're listening. I do apologise, but here we go. We're going to do this. I'm just going to crack straight on and give you all the movie news from Hollywood this week. And like I say, there is so much to cover. So strap yourselves in and here we go. God, I've missed this. I'm going to try and do this in chronological order, the news that I see throughout the week. Now, just a quick note before I jump in. I don't actually... what I should do as, you know, someone that's trying to get into the business of talking about movies and stuff, I should really investigate a bit more like the news that I actually see. But I basically just go on Instagram, I screenshot stuff that I see and think is interesting, movie news-wise. I have a quick look around other social media sites, and if it's true, you're more than likely to see it across several different sites. And obviously the news sites as well. As soon as you go onto Google, you see these news articles. So I don't actually read into them as such. I just see the headline and I think, do you know what? That's great. I'm going to talk about that, because to me, just that headline alone is interesting, because it gives you something just to discuss. Because a lot of the stuff that you read in these articles and you watch on the YouTube channels and all of that sort of stuff, they all kind of say the same thing. So I don't want to read into them too much, because I don't want my opinion swayed in any way. I don't, you know, I read the headline and I think, right, that's my opinion. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a bad idea. And that's what I like to just bring across, you know. I want to jump on that and get into that sort of mode. You know, I don't want to read too much and be swayed one way or the other. Obviously, as time goes on, the more news pieces that come out about a particular item or a particular movie, you know, my opinion will chop and change as it goes along. But straight away, I see the piece of news and I think, right, that's my opinion. At this time, as I said, opinions do change. It's just the way life goes. But I like to, you know, just give you my first thoughts on things. So, eventually we have got here the first piece of news. The Suicide Squad sequel, Suicide Squad 2, will begin filming in Atlanta, Georgia. That's a strange place. Like, I don't know anything about American states. Atlanta, Georgia, I don't know anything about the place, but it's not the kind of place that jumps out at me where they're going to film, you know, a big epic action movie. You know, I may be wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's a certain appeal to that state. I don't know. I'd love to hear thoughts from anyone from Atlanta, Georgia. Tell me, you know, what are your monuments? What am I going to be looking out for in this movie? But yeah, we'll start filming there on September 23rd. That's not too long away, 2019. And they are targeting to wrap the movie on January 31st of 2020. So that's August. I've just completely... my months have just got out of my head. September, October, November, December. 4 months of filming. That's not too bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty standard what you want from one of these big action movies, which I can't wait for. Suicide Squad 2, as we all know, is going to be directed and I believe written by James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame. You know, that whole debacle where he got fired, air quotes. I'm actually doing air quotes at the moment. I know you can't see it, but I definitely am. There, I'm doing it on the microphone as well. Yes, he got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy and then got rehired a few months later after some tweets he sent out. I won't get into the ins and outs of that. But yeah, I can't wait to see what Suicide Squad 2 is going to look like. There's a lot of casting news. I've missed out on reporting it all. Where I've not been here for a few months, so I apologise for that. But yeah, I can't wait for Suicide Squad 2, and with James Gunn at the helm, it's going to be an amazing movie. Definitely, I'm not going to say definitely, it has a good shot at being a lot better than the first one. Just little thing, I don't actually mind the first one. I actually really enjoy Suicide Squad. I think it's fun. It's not a great movie, but it's fun to watch. Okay, I'm just scrolling through my notes and I've actually got pictures of my eyeball. I won't go into that. Space Jam 2, starring LeBron James, has officially begun production. I honestly do not care about this movie whatsoever. I remember fondly Space Jam from when I was a child. Who doesn't? You know, the Looney Tunes coming to life, interacting with, you know, real life people, much like Roger Rabbit back in the 80s. An absolutely amazing movie. Space Jam kind of captured that imagination of what was good about Roger Rabbit, but I've recently watched Space Jam again and it doesn't hold up too well. It's still a good movie, it's a great kids movie, but Space Jam 2, I think they have left it far too long, and yeah, I don't really care. Again, my opinion may be swayed, it may be changed. I may see a trailer and think, do you know what, that's fine. But we'll have to wait and see. I honestly am not sure whether I'm even going to bother watching this movie at this point. Also joining the cast is a lot of basketball players who I don't recognise the names of, so I'm not even going to bother getting into it. But yeah, Space Jam 2 is being made as we speak. Great. Does anyone care? I don't want to say I don't care because that's mean, but I don't care. Yeah, but what are your thoughts? Let me know. Is it something you're looking forward to? Do you still remember Space Jam fondly like I do, but then have watched it recently and it's not great? This right here is my favourite piece of news from this week. Quick precursor. I'm going to go on a bit of a Kevin Smith tank. I've been listening to a lot of Kevin Smith recently, and I love listening to that man because he can tell a story out of nothing, and that's kind of that's what I wanted to do with this podcast. I enjoy doing it with other people. I enjoy having someone to bounce off of. But when you listen to Kevin Smith and the way he talks about stuff so passionately, and how he starts, and just the narrative that he creates, just talking about something so simple, it is beautiful. That man could talk to me, he could talk at me for hours and I would enjoy every single second of it. I'm not quite sure why I got on the yeah, precursor. That's right. Man, I'm definitely no Kevin Smith. Ghostbusters 3 is currently in pre-production. Jason Reitman, the director, he's currently going around what's the word? Do you know what? It's been so long, I can't. My brain is just completely seized up. Location scouting. That's the thing I was looking for. Yeah, Jason Reitman's going around looking at locations, and of course the iconic fire. Oh my god. I do apologise to anyone that is listening. There's probably not a lot of people, but I do apologise. Completely seized up. I should really take a break. Honestly, I do not edit any of this. I've managed to put in a few little clips at the beginning there, but other than that, that's the best editing that I can do. But any sort of male fumbling, oh, that sounds dirty. Yeah, any kind of just tangents that I'm on at the moment. Okay, let's go back. They are location scouting, and of course the iconic fire station in New York is one of the buildings that they are going to be looking at. You cannot make a Ghostbusters movie without that firehouse. It is, as I said, it is iconic. It is as much a character of those movies as, you know, Venkman and Ray and Egon and Winston, Slimer, Janine. It is part of that cast. So I'm so happy that they are there. You know, of course they're going to include it. Now, a few days ago on Instagram, we saw that iconic building. It is a tourist attraction. Of course it is, because who doesn't love Ghostbusters? If you don't love Ghostbusters, I apologise, there is something severely wrong with you. Yes, so this video on Instagram, it opens up and we see that iconic building, and there's a voiceover discussing how iconic this building is. And again, as I've just said, of course there are people visiting this monument to one of the greatest movies of all time, and saying how much of a fan that they are as well. After a couple of seconds, we notice that voice, and it is, of course, Paul Rudd. He steps into shot and he basically says, Jason Reitman put out the call. Who is going to answer that call? I'm going to answer that call. Yes, Paul Rudd, the absolute, one of the best comedic actors around, and basically one of the best people around. He is one of those guys that you can't help but love. He is going to be in Ghostbusters 3, and oh my god, I'm so excited. Like I've just said, I love this man. He has as much fandom for this movie as anyone else. So I urge you, go and look for this clip. Go and watch this clip. You can see in his eyes, you can hear in his words how happy and how passionate he is about this movie, and the fact that he has been chosen to be part of this. My God, you can just see the happiness in that man's eye. And who can blame him? I'd like to be in this movie. I'd like to just watch any part of this movie being made. I cannot wait for the finished article. But Paul Rudd, I salute you. I'm saluting you right now. Jason Reitman, I salute you for bringing this man on board. You cannot go wrong with having this man in this movie. This movie was going to be amazing anyway. This movie was going to be great. I have every single piece of faith that this movie is going to be as good as the original. I was almost going to say better, but time still holds a question mark over that one. But yes, having this man on board has just amplified the excitement for me, and I cannot wait. Wow. Yeah, I should have ended on this one, shouldn't I? I said I'd do these pieces of news in chronological order. I should have ended on that piece, but hey-o, here we go. Is that my new catchphrase for this podcast? No, it is not. Right, Warner Brothers are reportedly eyeing Daisy Ridley for Batgirl. Do you know what? I've stated so many times in the past, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I appreciate Star Wars. I enjoy Star Wars. I like Star Wars enough because of the mainstream presence, the cultural presence that it has on anyone. Star Wars is fine. I could take it or leave it. I wouldn't be upset if they never made another one, but I do appreciate that more are coming. I love it. Daisy Ridley, for me, is a great actress, and her portrayal of Rey in the last few movies, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, absolutely amazing. I think she is great, and if this news is true and she decides to take on the role of Batgirl in whatever kind of incarnation the DC cinematic universe is at this precise moment, whether it's a solo movie or whether she joins Robert Pattinson in Matt Reeves' solo Batman movie or the trilogy that he makes, if she appears at any moment within those, I'd be 100% happy, because like I say, she's a great actress, and she's an actress that you can see throws herself into these roles. That role of Rey is, again, great, very action-packed. You can see that she spent a lot of time, rehearsing and, making sure all of her action scenes and her moves are as believable as possible. So if you put a lady like this into the role of Batgirl, great. She will throw everything that she has into that role, and again, she's an amazing actress. So for me, it's a win-win. She's going to say the lines right, which is what you want from an actor, and she is going to be a convincing action star. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, I can't wait. As I said, the DC movie universe is in the toilet, so to speak. So we'll have to see how that one goes. But I like it. I like Daisy Ridley. I think it's a good choice. That's if it's true. At the moment, it is just a rumour that Warner Brothers are looking at her, but the last time we heard this rumour that Warner Brothers were looking at an actor for a certain role, that was Robert Pattinson as Batman. And that rumour was going around for 2 weeks, and then finally we got that confirmation. So, these sort of things, I'd say 60 or 70% of the time tend to be true. So, I'm throwing all of my enthusiasm into this and give it a few weeks and she probably won't even be Batgirl. But who knows? So, yeah, it's great. It's a good choice. Henry Cavill is going to be playing Sherlock Holmes. My dear Watson. What? Unbelievable. Sherlock Holmes, when you close your eyes and you picture Sherlock Holmes, I picture someone that looks like a younger Ian McKellen. You know, that sort of regal, not uptight as such, but very stoic and, you know, serious kind of man. When you think of, you know, like the late 1800s kind of Sherlock Holmes. Then you look to the more modern day kind of I know Ian McKellen was as modern day as you can get, but that's what I picture when I think of, you know, an older version of Sherlock Holmes. But then you jump into the kind of modern day and you've got your Robert Downey Jr., who I really enjoy. I love those Sherlock Holmes movies. There was a big rumour that there was going to be a Sherlock Holmes 3, which I, for one, was behind. But I'm not really sure how that is going at the moment. But he's great. He did a very good interpretation of that character. And then obviously you look at the other spectrum. You look at the version that is set in the modern day and stars Benedict Cumberbatch. Again, that kind of stoic, up himself, you know, very serious kind of Sherlock Holmes. Robert Downey Jr.'s version was a very whimsical kind of version, which is fine. Again, like I say, I really enjoyed it, but he could do the serious as well. Benedict Cumberbatch is very serious and stoic. I'm not saying that Henry Cavill cannot do that. He is a great actor, but when you look at Henry Cavill, you just see Superman. You see a big, muscle-bound, I'm going to say brute. He's not brute, but you could probably understand where I'm coming from. He's just a big, muscly guy, and that's not what I picture as Sherlock Holmes. But it's not going to be a Sherlock Holmes-led movie. He is going to be Sherlock Holmes, but more in the background of the whole story. It would actually involve Millie Bobby Brown of Stranger Things fame and the recent Godzilla movie, which I hear was pretty crap, but that's not her fault. She will be in the film, and she will be playing Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes's younger sister. Her name is Enola. I'm not too caught up with my Sherlock Holmes backstory, so I'm not sure if in the books he actually has a younger sister, but who knows if he does. I should really have looked into this, but again, like I say, I don't bother, because what's the point? It's much more fun doing it this way. But Enola, very unique name. Yeah, and she turns out to be a highly capable detective, much like her older brothers. Sherlock Holmes mainly, but Mycroft Holmes, I know, is as smart, if not, in his own words, smarter than Sherlock. So yeah, Millie Bobby Brown is going to be a younger sister of the famous Holmes brothers, and Henry Cavill will be playing the very famous Arthur Conan Doyle detective. That is just mad. Imagine him with that hat, that deer. Is it a deer stalker that Sherlock Holmes is famous for wearing? Imagine, Henry Cavill with one of those. That'd be great. I hope he grows a moustache as well. Unbelievable. Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek. I love Salma Hayek. She is reportedly joining the cast of Marvel Studios' The Eternals. Now, I know nothing about The Eternals. I know nothing about Marvel. Just joking. I know a little bit about Marvel. But yeah, The Eternals, I'm not too caught up on my Eternals lore. I know that the movie is coming soon. It's going to be the big kind of Phase 4 jumping off point. It's very cosmic, very space universe orientated. You know, Marvel are going to build on that after the events of Phase 3. You know, with Endgame. Still a bit of a touchy subject. I'm still very upset about that. After the events of all of that, and obviously where Thor spent a bit of time in space, you have the Guardians of the Galaxy. They really want to, and Captain Marvel as well, of course. I can't believe I forgot about Captain Marvel. But yeah, they really want to focus on that, you know, there's so much space, so why not fill it with another movie? So why not go with the Eternals, which I know enough about to know that they are set in space, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Angelina Jolie has been touted as joining the cast. There was another big name, I can't remember who it was. But yeah, Salma Hayek, great. Love Salma Hayek. She's a beautiful lady and she's a very good actress as well. So, are we allowed to say actress anymore? Just on that, if anyone's listening, I know there was a big furore. I still say actress because to me it's not a demeaning term. But if it is actor, then I'll say actor. But does it really make a difference? To me it doesn't, but I'm not an actor, so who knows. So yeah, Sam White, great, good news, love it. Sorry about the sniffing, by the way, I've actually got a bit of a cold. Worst time to be doing a podcast when you've actually got a cold. Tom Holland has revealed that he was supposed to have a small voice cameo in Into the Spiderverse. Now, Into the Spiderverse, if you haven't seen it, it is basically a Spider-Man movie where many different versions from many different universes of Spider-Man, they all come together and fight the bad guys. There were two different versions of the main Peter Parker Spider-Man. The original was voiced by Chris Pine, and then the latter was voiced by the name escapes me. He's a very good actor. I love the man. I completely forgotten his name. It's not the point. It's not relevant. But yeah, there was rumours at one point that Tobey Maguire was also going to be voicing a certain member of the Spider-Man family, and now Tom Holland has revealed that he was going to as well. He says, and I quote, "I'm not going to do it in his fake American accent. I will try to do it in my own bad, horrible British accent. At one point, I was supposed to be in it. Yeah, there was going to be another Peter Parker. It was a scene in a train station or something. It was going to be like an Easter egg. It was going to walk through the background and say like, 'Hey kid,' or something. Never happened. Heartbroken." Yeah, so yeah, he there were talks, you know, it was going to happen. I'm actually quite upset it didn't, but there's always time, you know. There's clearly going to be a Spiderverse sequel because of just the sheer success and money that it made. So there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that there's going to be a sequel. I hope that we don't have to wait long. So there's always time and there's always opportunities to bring more Spider-Man actors from the past in and throw them in there and give them a little voice cameo. Why not? It can't hurt. You've got Andrew Garfield, you've got Tobey Maguire, you've got obviously Tom Holland, you've got all the voice actors that have done the animated shows throughout the years. Why not drag them in? I don't know any of their names, but I'm sure there are people out there that love these people, and a cameo would just blow their minds. So why not do it? You know, it's a 5-second thing. Like Tom said, it was just going to be him walking in the background saying, "Hey kid, we could do it." You know, it's a 2-hour movie. Make it a 3-hour movie and just throw them all in at once. I think it's a great idea. I like it because, like I say, it reaches out to people that they pick up on these things, and it really just gives them a wink and a nod, and it lets the viewers know that these, you know, the movie makers, they're thinking about the viewers and not just thinking about making money. I like the idea of doing it, so I say, why not do it? Zachary Levi is in talks to star in a Warner's Spy Guys movie. I'm not quite sure exactly. There is no news about this apart from it's a new action comedy coming out from Warner Brothers. Jeff Tomsic, who directed Tag, which is a brilliant movie. I love Tag. I've only seen it the once, but it's one of those movies, you know, where you just keep meaning to go back to it, but you just haven't had the chance because there's so many other movies to go back to, and then, you know, you have someone like me that has decided to sit through 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother when there's clearly so much more media to get through. But yeah, Tag is a great movie. So I like the fact that the director is on board for this. So it's obviously going to be funny, and judging by the title, Spy Guys, obviously going to involve some kind of spies. You know, maybe it's a spy movie, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Tag didn't actually do a lot of money, which, you know, is disappointing, but it's garnering that kind of cult status, you know, that a lot of movies at the time, they may not make a lot of money at the box office, but later on in years they become classics and they make a lot more money. Unfortunately, by then it means it's too late to make a sequel, but why not get these actors from that movie, bring them in and just make a kind of franchise that's not connected, you know, that'd be great. And obviously bring in new actors as well, maybe Zachary Levi, which is the whole point of this conversation. Yeah, Shazam also didn't do too well at the box office, but that's obviously going to get a sequel. Shazam was great. DC would be silly not to make a sequel. I believe they are, but in the meantime, Zachary Levi, go out and make a spy movie. Why not? And our last piece of news, I'm sorry that this is nearly the end of the episode, I do apologise, but our last piece of news, just before I came into my room to hit record, I saw this and I like it. Number one, I love the actress. I think she's great. She's funny. She's clever. She's that clever kind of funny, you know, she throws herself into her comedy, which I love. And you can see just how much emotion that she can also bring to a role. The live action Little Mermaid movie, which, you know, is getting a little bit of traction again. Recently, Zendaya was spotted with red hair. A lot of people automatically think of Mary Jane Watson. She is playing MJ of sorts in the Spider-Man movies, but I'm pretty sure she's not the archetypal Mary Jane Watson that we know and love from the comic books. But Zendaya has dyed her hair red, and it had a lot of people thinking, oh, she's Mary Jane Watson. No, she's not. She's not. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of that, but she is also being linked with the Little Mermaid. Great, she could play the Little Mermaid, who also has red hair. So that's how Hollywood works. People link things that shouldn't really be linked. But hey ho, if she is in the Little Mermaid movie, great, I like Zendaya. But the whole point of this topic was Melissa McCarthy is in talks to star as Ursula. You know, that I've never actually seen the Little Mermaid, but I know enough about it from other, you know, culture and media. Ursula is the big bad guy who is kind of a squid lady, very evil lady, one of the probably more evil characters in the Disney verse. But yeah, Melissa McCarthy is in talks to play Ursula. Again, I love it. I know enough about that character to know that Melissa McCarthy could pull this off. Disney so far in their live action movies, their casting, they have not gone wrong in my eyes. They have pretty much hit the nail on the head every time. Disney can do no wrong. So if they're looking at Melissa McCarthy for this character, she is the perfect choice. I cannot argue with Disney because they clearly know what they are doing. They are a money-making machine. I've been talking for so long, I've not even had a drink. Just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm sorry, I had to do that. When I got on this roll, I had to keep going. I didn't want to stop talking, otherwise I would not have carried on again. But this last 34 minutes has been fun. It really has. I'm so glad I came into this room and hit record. I'm so glad that I've done this again. I have missed this so much. Wow, it's like I'm accepting an award. I'd like to thank all of the people that have... I'm not really crying. Yeah, no, this has been fun. I've missed this. I really have. And I hope that if even one person listens to this and you enjoy it, that is why I do it. I do it because I enjoy it. I do it because I know that at some point someone may listen to it and think, do you know what, that was fun. That guy does talk some nonsense. He has absolutely no idea what he's talking about, but it's funny listening to him anyway. It's funny listening to him rant because the guy's an idiot. But yeah, I'm back. Like I said at the beginning, the longer I left this, the harder it was for me to do. But once I started doing it, it's not that difficult at all. I'm so happy right now. I'm so glad that I just, the anxiety is there, the fear is there, but I did it anyway. And I did all of this without any medication, which is a big step for me, so I'm happy for myself. I was clapping there, not doing anything rude. I'm not celebrating just yet. But yeah, until next time. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, which I mentioned earlier, that as well, of course, is Aaron Talks Films. Hopefully, now that I'm in this kind of role, I might go and make a video. Why not? But yeah, thank you very much for listening. If you got this far, thank you so much. Yeah, my YouTube channel is Aaron Talks Films. Social media, I'm on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, all at Aaron Talks Films. All across the board. Again, very easy to find, so come and find me, shout at me, send me a question, send me a remark, anything. I'd love to talk to you guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say about anything that I've said in this episode. And I will definitely be back next week. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.